Hey, how you doing out there? It's your girl, Pastor Vera. I hope all is going well today. Hey, this is Friday. We're like a couple of days prior to or before we go into that Christmas season. I wanted to talk about relationships today. Yeah, I know. I'm always talking about relationships because that's dear to my heart. Relationships are transactional and it's a currency that never goes out of style. I mean, let's face it. We have to be in connection with people from day to day in everything that we do. And coming from a person who is a single woman, I like to talk about relationships because you win some and you lose some. Sometimes you're in relationships and sometimes they don't work out and you find yourself by yourself. So I know that there's a lot of women out there that can relate to the things that I talk about. And that's why I like to dive in and really discuss them a little bit deeper than just the surface. But today it's going to be relationships, but it's a mix of relationships and how to deal with the loss of some relationships. So let's get into it. We as singles, we have to understand that if we have had some type of loss, whether you were married before or if you're a widow, there is that loss of connection during the holidays. And when I got up today, I felt kind of melancholy. If I can put some words or verbiage to how I felt, it was a little sadness, a little loneliness, and a little depression at times. I'm quite sure I'm not the only one that has experienced that, but I wanted to tap into that and talk about that today because I don't want you to feel like it's not normal to feel those emotions during this time of the year. Now, a lot of my friends, they have their family that they get together with. Some people have even gone away. They went to Jamaica or wherever people desire to vacation at this time. People are doing it. But for those of us that at this time don't have that, I would say, opportunity, we have to deal with what we're dealing with. Now, I'm also a traveler, so I love to do that as well. But at this time of the year, I just so happen to be home with my family. Now, my family is a small component because I've lost my mom and my dad and my brother. So that's all of my immediate family. And how I get through things is to show up with people like you, show up and have conversations because I like to talk about things. It helps me feel better to get it out. It helps me to heal and instead of internalizing it, when I verbalize it, I feel some type of release. And that's why I like to share the information with those of you out there because I know I am not the only one. I know I'm not the only one going through it and have gone through it or someone will go through it. If you've ever lost a loved one, it's a difference when you lose family members and then on the flip side, you lose a loved one, meaning that your intimacy, the partner, the person that you thought was going to be there forever is no longer there. They've decided to exit to the left and now you're just, by yourself. But I want you to know that you don't have to feel that weight of carrying this dark secret of feeling depressed. I don't know how many of you have ever been in a crowd of people, and even while you're in a crowd of people, you feel lonely. It doesn't change the fact that you're still tapping into your emotions, but I just wanted to validate it today that it's okay to feel that way. You are a human being. Now, I know for those of us that are believers, we know that God's word says that he would never leave us nor forsake us. And we get that, we know that, but in human form, to have that one-on-one conversation with someone sure would be nice, right? So what happens when you don't have that? You have to deal with the loss. And how do you deal with the loss is in so many ways. You can, I looked up a few things to deal with loss at this time of the season. And one of them that I wanted to talk about, let me pull up my little screen, is to talk to someone that knew that person and share your fond memories. Share some of the fond memories that you had with that person. For me, I remember like my mom, she was a terrible cook. My mother was a terrible cook, but she was a great seamstress. She was really good with sewing things and decorating the house, making the house really look nice around the holidays. And one of the memories that just came across my mind now is just thinking about after my mother would decorate the home and how she would sit back on the couch and just look at her masterpiece. She'd sit there with her cup of coffee and her cigarette, or maybe if she felt in a mood for it, with a glass of wine, and she would sit there and just look in awe at her Christmas trees and the piano that she had in the home and the fireplace. She would just sit there. I would walk in sometimes. I would come through the front door and our living room was to the left. As soon as I walked in, I looked to the left and my mom was sitting there just enjoying all of her environment. She just loved to decorate. And that's a fond memory I have of my mom. And then the second one I have of my mother is just the fact that she loved to have fun. She loved to enjoy herself, and especially around the holidays. One of her rules were if you came to dinner, no one could leave the house unless they sang a song. And no matter how bad you sound, she was going to make you sing a song. So those are good, like, fond memories of my mom. And that's something that you can do as well. You can find a family member and share those experiences so that you can have a good laugh. And it would take you to a place where you'd feel like, wow, I still have the memories. Although my loved one is no longer here, I still have those memories. And then the next thing that would be good if you still felt like you had this weight on your shoulders is to seek some counseling, right? Talk to someone about what you're feeling and let that be a place where you can be validated with no judgment, where someone can talk to you without you feeling like they're going to say, yeah, well, remember Uncle Tommy was this and he was that. It's not about some of the memories, right? May not have been the best. But at the same time, you should understand that it is good to just share your feelings and your experiences with someone who would help you while you're struggling to cope through the holiday seasons. Because a lot of people are not realizing that some people are really struggling with the holidays. Everyone is not feeling that holly jolly, that burst of energy of love and cheer because of maybe some of the experiences that they've had. And that causes people to draw back from wanting to be around people. I'm going to tell you something that I just recognized that I was doing, and I'm always like the bubbly one. I love to share information. I love to have dialogue. But I've noticed that within the last couple of weeks, I wanted to draw back more from people. And so I know if I was feeling that way, I know that some of you may have that same situation going on. So talking about it, flushing out all of the emotions, the rush or the weight of loss, maybe like a blanket on you right now. And I want you to know that you don't have to wear that blanket. You can always seek some type of help. You can always talk to someone about it. And then another thing that you can do is get involved within your community. That's another good thing, because getting out of the environment where you feel the loss, changing your environment will create a different mood. It makes sense? Just think about it. If you're feeling sad, sometimes I like to turn on something, a movie that will make me laugh. I love to laugh. So when I'm in that moment and I'm not feeling my best, I just laugh. And then I say, okay, I'm back to myself. Doesn't mean that you are being selfish for not remembering that person, but you just change partners for a moment. You just decided to enjoy feeling good about yourself, or feeling good because you're still alive. And that's the key too. You are alive. You are in good health, good spirits. You are alive. And that's something to be thankful for. And then the next thing, as it relates to getting involved within the community, you could go out and volunteer to maybe feed the homeless, or feed women that are maybe in those homes, domestic violence, whatever it is, you can find something to do. You just have to get creative. And now people would say, I don't know what to do. Listen, you could Google it. Google is your best friend. There are so many things that you can learn from Googling the information. And then another thing that I wanted to talk about was just the fact of going back to relationships. Building new relationships in this season is so important. I have recognized that over the past year, I've lost a few relationships with people I deem very dear to me, and I held them at the highest esteem. But I cannot continue to wonder why. I just understand that things happen and there's always a purpose and a plan for it. And let me explain to you what I mean. I was, for the last year, I have been in grad school. And during that time, I believe that, I'm telling you, it was rough, because as you get older, you don't retain information the way that you did once when you were younger. And so I put all of my energy, all of my time. I mean, I've even gained a lot of weight because I just was sitting, reading, studying, eating all the wrong foods and all that good stuff. But anyway, nevertheless, I digress. And with that being said, I had neglected to continue the relationships, to build those relationships by checking in. And I understand that everybody's level of maturity in life, no matter how old you are, it's different for everyone. And so a few people have made a decision that they no longer wanted to be my friend. And I discovered it in so many ways. One is I reached out to someone who I've known like over 20 years. And the person didn't respond. And then I text them and then he didn't respond. I reached out to them again. I'm thinking maybe it was an oversight, but they didn't respond. Then I did a live video and the person was, I noticed that they had came onto my page. They were watching and I called their name out. They still didn't respond. So I finally took the hint. I finally caught what I was supposed to catch, that they no longer wanted to be in my good graces. Okay. So it is what it is. And I realized that relationships is the currency. We think that money is everything, but relationships is the currency to build you up, to grow, to expand. And so I just want to say that it's good to build relationships in this season because it's important. Relationships are a currency. It's networking. It's not a bad word to use that. I used to think, oh, networking, I'm not into that. But in this time and in this season, if you're going through a season of grief and loss and feeling kind of hopeless, feeling kind of down, the best thing to do is to build a tribe, to get around people who will uplift you in this season, okay? And you can do some activities, maybe go out to, go out, maybe bowling, or you can do something new. Take up a line dance class. I'm a part of a line dance group, and I haven't gone as much as I used to. And that's another thing, getting back into the swing of stuff when you have let it stay dormant for a while. I mean, I've gotten out of everything. I stopped doing everything. I shut down everything. Some of my businesses were even lacking because I could not focus on 2 or 3 things at a time. Now, if you can do that, that's fine. But I'm just not that type of person that I can do that. I have to be all in or I'm not in it at all. And I can't be working on 3 and 4 projects at a time because trust and believe me, it's not going to turn out well. So, but nevertheless, again, it's always about building relationships and spending time with friends and family who will support you in this season. And I would say if I had to close with anything, if I had to continue to encourage you to do something, it is to be around people that will make you laugh or that will be positive. It is not to stay in a funk. It's not for you to stay in a place where you just feel the grief and the loss and get in your car and you may cry about it and all of that. That's normal, but at the same time, I don't want you to stay there. I want you to get out and be a part of the community. be a part of life and how life is life. And I need you to get up and be in it. I don't need you to sit on the sidelines. I need you to recognize that even if you can't get out, because you're probably saying, well, I can't get out. I don't know. Well, you're talking about I'm not able to do that. Well, here's another thing that can be done. How about if you connect with some people, may have a Zoom party, may connect with those that you want to just talk to, some girlfriends you haven't talked to in a while, and you just want to do a Zoom call, and everybody, you want everybody to just come together so you can say, hey, how you doing? And that, to me, is an aha moment for me, because I'm going to create a Zoom link so that some of my friends that I haven't seen in a while, we could just see each other. I have friends that live in Atlanta. I got friends in Texas and North Carolina. I have friends in Hawaii. I have friends that live in London. And all of these people I have not seen face to face. I've seen them on social media platforms, but for us to forge a relationship, I have not done that. And I think that we have to use the word, as I had told one of my clients, because I also do counseling, is you have to be intentional. Be intentional about the changes that you want to make in this season. And I say that because that is something that I am purposefully doing for myself, being intentional to engage in relationships. Now, I want to close with this. Do not plan on going back to something that broke you. And I have had my own fair share of understanding what that's like. Relationships that did not work out. Sometimes a person will come back around. They'll circle around and give you a call or may text you and want to know how you're doing, especially around the holidays. And sometimes if you're very vulnerable, you may give into that. And when you give into that, you fall back into the same ditch. And knowing and understand this, that person in you did not make it for a reason. Things happen for a reason. By you coming back around and entertaining the thought of getting back together with this person, the likelihood of it working out the second time around is very slim to none. Because if you've seen where they were and how they were, what makes you think that they've changed? They more than likely haven't. And I don't really want to hurt your feelings, but the truth is, they come back around just to check your temperature. They come back around to see if the door is still open, if you're still vulnerable. Because trust and believe me, they have probably moved on. They got 4 or 5 people in rotation, and they just want to know if they still have some type of control over you. Don't give in. It is best to be by yourself for a season and to heal. I don't believe that people truly take the time to heal after a failed relationship. My thoughts are, and my experiences have been, when you don't take time to heal, you get in a relationship and you're still vulnerable, and you would accept things and put up with things that you would normally not put up with if you were totally healed. In this season, don't fall prey to getting into a relationship just so that you could say that you have someone in your life. Because that someone in your life could be toxic, could be hurtful to you. And you don't want to repeat the cycle. You don't want to go in knowing that you're not healed, but you feel like, well, at least I have somebody. No, that is not the right perspective in this season, in this holiday season. It is best to be by yourself. I know that it can be lonely, but don't you feel good that when you go to sleep at night, you don't have to worry about that person not calling you, or that person, you're wondering what they're doing, that person ghosting you, or that person being overbearing? It can fall from one side of the spectrum to the other. But what you have now is peace of mind. And relationships should not be liabilities. Relationships should not make you feel bad, should not make you feel uncomfortable, should not make you feel like you dread being around them, but yet you want somebody so bad around you that you accept anything. That's not what we're doing in this season. Being whole, having people around you that love you, those are the things that are most important. And we need to just focus on that. Yes, I know. It's painful. It's painful. And knowing that that person may have moved on and built a new relationship. But always keep in mind that that person that you knew, sometimes it was the representative that they had provided for you. It wasn't the real person. And the real person that they're taking that real person with them to another relationship that may not work out. But keep in mind, that's none of your business. It's none of your business. And we don't need to go looking on or stalking their pages. We don't need to be keeping up with the daily news in their lives. We should be focusing on healing and loving on ourselves and creating a space to laugh more than we have ever done in a long time. So I just wanted to, just shout y'all out today and say, hey, I wish you a Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. I know that Christmas is on Monday, but people are shopping. People are taking planes now, and they're going on about their business to their family's house. I know one of my friends, she's on the road now. She has a 15-hour ride all the way down to see her mom. I don't know exactly where her mother lives, but it is a 15-hour drive. And whatever you decide to do, just don't be or put yourself in a position to be feeling hopeless in such a wonderful season. Be excited about the holiday. Buy yourself something. If you can't buy yourself something, then that's fine. But I would say to you, affirm yourself. Tell yourself that, hey, I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy of good friends. I'm worthy of building new relationships. I'm a good friend and I'm going to be a friend. The Bible says that, if you want a friend, you have to show yourself friendly. And so create that environment. Now, some of you, again, may say, well, I don't know how to do that. I've given you a couple of steps. I've already told you, get out in the community, go out there and feed some people, go out there and have some fun, go out there and take up a new hobby. If you like making jewelry, find a group out there. You can go on Google. Meetup groups are all over the place. If you find a group that say, hey, I'm single and we just want to get on a Zoom for the holidays, we just want to meet up and we just want to, hey, have cheers, have a toast together, whatever it is, it's out there to find. You have to be, the word I used earlier, be intentional in this season about your life. Be intentional. Be intentional about being good to yourself. Be intentional about doing things for yourself. Be intentional about making new memories. And that's what it's all about, making new memories. Don't sit up there and be in a place of just feeling like you just grieving and grieving and grieving and grieving. No, get to a place where you say, you know what, I'm going to be intentional and I'm going to create new relationships on purpose. All right, now, y'all better go ahead on out there and enjoy your day. Like I said, it's your girl, Vera. Hey, I thank you for tuning in today. And hey, make it a good weekend.